What an extraordinary trip on board the Pride out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. They had limits of white sea bass. That is 3 big sea bass per rod. Limits of sheepshead. They had some big halibut and also 3 bluefin tuna. Angler Gino Machino was on board and said it was another fantastic trip with Captain Sean Roberts. Incredible fishing in Southern California. Barracuda fishing heating up in Southern California. I wanted to show you an easy way to unhook your barracuda. Fish a single hooked lure, and then all you have to do is turn the lure upside down and give the fish a shake. Check it out. Turn the lure upside down and give it a shake, and off it goes. Great way to release barracuda. Whoa, another big gar on the iron, Paul.
Paul, what'd you catch?
Nice big gar, man. Woo! Look at that thing. Wind it. Big gar. That's a nice one, dude. That's a nice one, man. See that, Cody? That's a nice fish.
Hey, good Thursday morning, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Ventura, California, here in the United States of America. I'm in Ventura because I'm visiting with my niece, Connie, and my brother, Paul, and his wife, Ame, are here from Taiwan. And, of course, we just finished up, Paul and I, that is, a lovely, wonderful day on board the Island Spirit out of Ventura Harbor sport fishing. Before I get started on the morning briefing, and we've got a lot to cover with you, I've got to tell you that if you know somebody who's never been fishing before, or is an avid fisherman for that matter, the Island Spirit, we had such a great experience on that rig. It was so much fun, and the crew is second to none. They are so good with novice anglers. They are all over you. What can I do for you? Here's how to catch them. What else can I do to make your trip more pleasurable? It was really great. And Cody Rogers, of course, the captain, he's right at the top of the food chain in that customer service that is absolutely incredible on the Island Spirit out of Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing, 805-676-3474. You'll have the time of your life. I'll guarantee you that. All right, let me get into some fishing news with you and just kind of tease what we're going to talk about. You saw the lead in the Pride with a great day and a half trip. It doesn't get any better than that with limits of white sea bass. That is 3 fish per rod right now. 3 big sea bass per rod. And they had 3 bluefin tuna and halibut and some yellowtail. It was an incredible trip. The Amigo had a great trip also with 22 mixed fish. Sea bass, halibut, yellowtail. Really great stuff. And down in San Diego, we're seeing more and more signal and sign as fish continue to move into San Diego. We've got another report from down the Baja coast, about 270 miles from Brad Phillips, about just how much yellowfin tuna is pointed in this direction. Barracuda are starting to bite, wonderful fishing in the Channel Islands, and so much more. You know what time it is, my friends. It's time for the morning briefing. Ah, that is so good. What's my cup? I don't even know what my cup is this morning. I don't have my Friedman. I left it in the house there. So anyway, it's really great to be with y'all. Thanks for joining me once again here from Ventura Sport Fishing. I'll be at 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro in just a few more hours tonight, live 6 p.m., the Danny Cadota Show. Danny will have his take on this barracuda fishing. Do we still think albacore are coming? Yes, I do. And also all that yellowfin that is pushing into the area. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share these reports. Please, it means so much to us. We just broke 9,000 subscribers, so now we're pointed at 10,000 subscribers, and it's just moving so fast, and it's all due to your support. Thank you all so very, very much. It means so much to all of us here at Friedman Adventures. All right, let's get into it, everybody, because we got a lot to talk about. I'm going to take you down 270 miles south of Point Loma, down the Mexican Baja coast to an area we call Bonitas Island. And outside of Bonitas, there is some incredible fishing going on. Brad Phillips is an old-time captain from Southern California, and he works out of Bahia Langosta now. And, man, I got to tell you, there is some really great fishing down there. Brad said that he talked to a commercial lift pole boat. A lift pole is rod that you put in the water, and then you just lift it and throw the tuna on board. Many of you are familiar with that kind of commercial fishing, but it has been exceptional down there. Brad said he talked to his guy down there, and he said he filled the boat with 20-plus pound yellowfin tuna, like 22-pound yellowfin tuna in 17 hours, and he has never, ever done it before. There is so much yellowfin tuna pointed towards San Diego, says Brad, that it is absolutely incredible. In fact, this same lift pole guy has code boats that are fishing 20, 30 miles down below him, down the Baja coast. Same exact thing, which tells you how much there is to this yellowfin tuna, and it's all moving southwest right towards San Diego, said Brad. He said this is reminiscent of the 97, 98 year when we caught copious amounts of yellowfin tuna. And you know, we're just a little ways away from that. You can see it coming even in the cooler water, cooler relatively speaking for yellowfin tuna. I'm going to say, you know, you get to 67 degrees and you're starting to get into their temperature range. You get over 70 and they are loving it. They love that warm water. And right now, we've got a lot of the 65, 66, even cooler water around, and they are still pushing their noses into San Diego, even given that. The main bulk of it appears to be a little bit ways down the line, but it can move super fast. It could get up here in a hurry. It could literally be up here in a few days if it was so inclined to swim. And it's all going to be based on water temperatures. Now, Brad mentions 97 and 98 being exceptional yellowfin tuna years. He's absolutely right. Also, those were some exceptional albacore years. So are we seeing a replay of that? We just are starting to get the Barracuda bite going on right now. Normally, in a good albacore year, you get the Barracuda bite, followed by the albacore bite. Later on in the year, you get the Dorado and yellowfin tuna. Are we on a similar path? That is the question that we'll be answering here in the coming weeks. We'll stay with our albacore prediction because there's so much anchovy around. The water's still cool. And now that reference that Brad is making to the 97, 98 season with that yellowfin, man, that rings true to all of us. We'll see what is going to happen. Ensenada area, there's some hits on the bluefin down there. There's more yellowfin starting to push in there, and they have some good barracuda fishing, good rock fishing, some yellowtail around Todos Santos Island. There's some really good fishing going on down in Ensenada. May not always be bluefin, but there's some other options available to you. And the Pongeros down there, friends of mine at Blackfin, Sport Fishing, and other guys have been doing pretty darn well in that neck of the woods. We get you up to the San Diego area right now, and fishing is just, you know, it's on the foot's on the gas pedal one day, and then it's off. Fish are moving around a lot. I'm talking about the bluefin mostly, but every other day you get some huge hits. And it's kind of like that from boat to boat. Some boats are having some exceptional fishing. Really, you go out and you're going to say, man, that was the best trip I've ever been on in my life, while another guy had an extremely tough kind of trip. Seems to be trying to settle down with that yellowfin on the way. That's what's going to settle this thing in. That's going to give it consistency. Yellowfin are not like bluefin. They're not as fickle as bluefin tuna. And while they can move because they're looking for more bait or better water, most of the time you get on a jag of yellowfin and they are going to chew the paint off the boat. And hopefully that's going to happen here pretty soon. The Independence, I talked to Landfill, Captain Brian, and Brian said, hey, Phil, pretty good day yesterday. We had 51 bluefin tuna, 8 yellowfin tuna, not bad at all. The Pacifica had limits of bluefin tuna on their trip. Several other boats with good scores like that. Nothing wrong with those kind of scores. That daytime bite, 30 to sometimes even 50-pound fluorocarbon works really well. A good hot fly line bait has been best of all. That's what you want to fish with. And of course, choosing that hot bait and changing it regularly is so critical to your success. So keep that in mind. We like Opsin fluorocarbon, www.opsinusa.com. That is such great fluorocarbon. And if you put in FA at checkout, Greg Brown will give you a hug, a kiss, and send you a free gift. So change your line or change your bait regularly. Choose a good hot bait to start with. Fish fluoro, and you're in the game. If you have to drop down to 30 because it's finicky, do it. If you see big grade fish around and your crew members are telling you, man, you need to bump that up and get on the 50, sometimes even 60-pound, you'll have to do that. San Diego, 34, guys, 28 bluefin tuna, 21 yellowfin tuna. Most of that YFT is nice grade. You don't see a lot of that 8, 10, 12-pound stuff. It's a lot of 15 to 40-pound yellowfin tuna. The leading edge of that big bulk of fish that we just discussed with you that Brad Phillips has filled us all in on. Sea Watch 25 on the bluefin tuna. Nothing wrong with a hit like that. Some of those full-day boats yesterday had a tough day. But one thing they all had in common was seeing a lot of fish. It's around. And once again, hopefully today, it's already starting to bite. We'll see where we go. At the nighttime, same thing. Hit and miss kind of fishing is what we have seen here recently. Some guys with really good night fishing, other guys really struggling. 250 to 350 gram jigs have been working best of all. But sometimes if you get some wind and current, you even have to go up to a 4. Some guys even go up to a 500. Some guy had a custom-made 650 gram jig, a knife jig type of lure that he was fishing with at night and doing really well. That was in that extremely snotty weather we had about a week or so ago. So once again, it's hit and miss, but trying to settle. And, you know, as I said, one guy will go out and have an exceptional day and somebody else will struggle. So it's that kind of a situation right now. Tons of yellowfin tuna pointed in this direction. All right, I've got to get to the Pride because, man, what a trip they had. Gino Machino, he's a good friend of ours here at Friedman Adventures, a Friedman Adventures family member. He was on that trip and he said, you know, while I kind of want to tell you that this was one of the best trips and most exceptional trips I've ever been on with Sean Roberts and the Pride, I kind of feel that way on the one hand, said Gino. On the other hand, Sean just keeps doing it and doing it and doing it. Sean, you're getting these guys used to these epic tricks. Limits of white sea bass. That is 3 sea bass per rod. Look at the size of those fish. They're absolutely gorgeous. A lot of halibut in there. Limits on the sheep's head and other critters to go along with it. An incredible day and a half trip on board the Pride out of 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California. They also had 3 bluefin tuna at night. I don't know how any bite anywhere on the face of the earth can get a whole heck of a lot better than that. That is exceptional fishing with great variety and great fishing for the lucky folks who are on board the Pride. The Amigo had 22 mixed game fish, you know, yellows and sea bass and halibut. So this bite is really going well. Amigo also out of 22nd Street Landing, so that is great news. Kind of back to the tuna thing for just one moment to let you know that the Thunderbird out of Davies Locker in Newport Beach, California is on a 2-day trip. Man, how can it get much better than this? SoCal fishing is hit its stride. It's really good. Thunderbird, limits of bluefin tuna, 10 yellowfin tuna. A lot of that daytime bluefin, by the way, is like 20 to 40 pounds. Sometimes you'll get some 50s. There's some bigger grade fish running around, but most of the time it's going to be that grade of fish. What a trip on the Thunderbird. It can't get a whole lot better than that. And you mark my words here, late, or, you know, for sure, I'm thinking late July, even earlier perhaps, but August, September, October, right on through the winter. We have that El Nino that's going to affect us. We're going to have yellowfin tuna and Dorado fishing for LA Orange County based landings, as well as the San Diego guys, and probably up here in Ventura. That's going to really blow your mind. It's going to be one heck of a summer and late fall. Hang on, put your safety belts on because it's going to be good. All right, now locally we are not only catching the sculpin and the rockfish as we have, but more barracuda are starting to move in. We're seeing it finally. We've been waiting for this to happen. We've had barracuda in the Channel Islands. We've had it down south in Ensenada and at the Coronado Islands, and now it's starting to move in for LA Orange County based landings off Newport, off San Pedro. Hopefully it'll be up in the Santa Monica Bay here very soon. Enterprise with bass, barracuda, good sculpin fishing. Also the Freelance got in on it. Several other local boats are getting in on it. I'm hearing reports already here today, Thursday, that there's some barracuda being taken. I'll get more info on that when I get to 22nd Street. By that, I mean we're going to be talking to some of the guys who experienced it. So it's really looking good right now. You definitely want to bring a jig stick with you. There's no better way to take barracuda than on the iron. And at the beginning of today's show, I showed you an easy, safe, and effective way to get a barracuda off your lure. Fish single hook, and man, all you got to do is turn the jig upside down. Well, you can go back and watch that. Give it a shake, and they're gone. It's a great way to get the job done. More and more gar moving in there. That is great news. Catalina Island, we continue to see some pretty good barracuda, a few yellows over there, native sun, pursuit, boats like that have been picking at the yellows, occasional sea bass, occasional halibut, bonita, calico bass, great variety, and at times some really good yellowtail fishing, but most of the time it's just kind of a scratch pick bite at that. Up in the Santa Monica Bay, Redondo and Marina del Rey picking at the rockfish, they're going to get a shot of gar in there. Those barracudas should move in there here really soon. Up here in the Channel Islands, well, I just have to go back to our day on the Island Spirit, spend a little bit of time with you on that. What Cody Rogers decided to do with us was, let's go rock fishing first of all and get some great table fare with these colorful, great eating rockfish in the sacks. Certainly accomplished that. It was really good, nice big vermilions and sheep's head and all kinds of stuff. And man, once you have that in the sack, you're like, whoa, we're going to have a fish feast tonight. We're going to be able to eat some really good fresh fish. Now, let's go see if these barracuda want to bite. And we got in there, and man, instantly you can see the birds picking at the water. You can see the bait jumping out. A barracuda come flying out of the water. You throw an iron right to those birds, wind on it. You were on. It was so much fun. My brother Paul and I and everybody else on board was catching barracuda. I think we ended up with close to 60 barracuda, and it was so much fun. I love catching barracuda on the iron, and most of the time I videotape, just straight videotape, but this time I said, what the heck, man, I got to do this. So I got a chance to do it. My brother Paul, he was kind enough to shoot some video, so we had a great time together. The food, the customer service on the Island Spirit, everything was fantastic. I highly recommend that you jump on one of the boats out of Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing. You know about the Endeavor. It's such a great operation. You got the Island Spirit, and you've got the Old Matt Walsh, which is the California now, fishing half-day Sundays. Kids 12 and under go free with a paid adult. It's time to get going. That was so much fun. Now, in addition to that, we see really good rock fishing everywhere up there in the Channel Islands. The halibut white sea bass thing has been down here lately. Hopefully we'll see some signs of life today, but it's been a while since we've seen really huge scores on the sea bass and everything else. But you know, that's just a ticking time bomb ready to explode at any point in time. Again, that'll get rocking and rolling here very, very soon. In the meantime, you've got great rockfish and so much more up there in the Channel Islands, occasional halibut and that kind of stuff also going on. Stardust up there in Santa Barbara, and the Santa Barbara base boats also doing really, really well on rockfish. All right, my friends, it's an exciting time. That wall of yellowfin tuna, it is so expansive, and it's headed southwest right toward San Diego, also Ensenada. Those guys are going to see more of an influx of that YFT. It's all about water temp. The water warms up. Those things are going to be honest, and they're going to stay around for a while because there's a lot of it. I can tell you that right now. Local barracuda is starting to take off. That's great. What a trip on board the Pride. We're seeing more bluefin down there in San Diego. We'll watch all of that for you and keep you in touch with all the very, very latest. Danny Cadota's show tonight at 6 p.m. You can send your questions into Danny live, and he will answer them. Guy with decades of experience and such a nice gentleman. Always good to see my friend Danny Cadota, and I'm looking forward to that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe these videos. Send them to a friend. We've got shorts already up today, and we'll have more throughout the day to keep you in touch with the latest and give you some instruction on how best to take on the current bite in northern Baja and southern California. As always, it's my pleasure to spend some time with you, and as always, I hope to not only see you tonight on our 6 p.m. live show, but I hope to see you really, really soon. Don't even know what this coffee cup says. Hopefully, it's nothing indecent. Have a great day, my friends. I'll see you soon.